All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be all over the place, but we're going to be checking out Red Yellow Sabo. That will be a main focus for today's video. I know I've been doing one every single week. We're on the Red Yellow Sabo arc for the channel. But today's video is pretty interesting and going to be pretty fun because we're going to check out a list that won a tournament over in the East. It was not a big tournament, not trying to get anybody's hopes up. It was a 17-player local, but it's a very interesting list from the East featuring OP08.5 cards. So that will be a major focus for today's video. Excuse me. However, let me give you guys a quick breakdown, tell you what we're going to be getting into. First up, we're going to be heading over to the lab and checking out a game of Red Purple Uta. That's right, not Law, not Luffy, not Eustace Kid. Red Purple Uta versus Black Yellow Luffy. That will be the first thing we check out, a community submitted video. That should be a lot of fun. From there, we are going to hop over to, the One Piece TCG English Twitter. We're going to talk about the bans and restrictions when they come into effect. Then we will hop over to OnePieceTopDecks.com and check out this new Red Yellow Sabo list I was just referring to. After that, we will check out 3 games on the sim that I have prepared for us, playing a Red Yellow Sabo deck, not the same deck that we'll see in the video today that won a tournament in the East, but we'll be playing a very interesting version. I'll talk more about that as we get into it. And then we'll break down that deck list at the very end, and we'll wrap it up in that way. All right, guys, so you know what you're getting into. I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description of the video. All relevant links and deck lists will be in the comment section as well. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's dive straight into this. First things first, heading over to the lab. Let me go ahead and make sure the speed is on 2x, which it is not. The quality is, this one is capped out at 760p, guys. Yeah, 720 by 60p or whatever it is, p60. I don't know the technical way to say this stuff, guys. I'm sorry. Volume is off. We're good to go. For those who are wondering what we're doing in this section of the video, this is we call it the VV Lab. Okay, this is where people will submit videos of themselves playing One Piece, and they submit it so that I can review it and show it on the channel. It is used as a learning tool. It is used like as a miniature version of coaching, if that makes sense. So for anyone who is interested, of course, just record your own video with some type of free software like OBS. Upload it to YouTube, and then you can put the link over on my Discord under the Review My Game tab, the Review My Game channel. And then I put a thumbs up by it, and then I just throw it in line. And it's, first come, first serve, and I just go straight down the line. Okay, so you know what you're getting into, guys, with this part, or now you know what's going on here. Let's hop into this game. We have a game of Red Purple Uta versus Black Yellow Luffy. Let's see what happens here. The film package is becoming stronger and stronger, and I'm actually becoming more and more of a fan of the film stuff as the game moves on. Now, currently, as we wait for the game to set up, because I have this on 2x speed, right? Let me see something. Yeah, 2x speed. Black Yellow Luffy's going to start off with the Garp Searcher. Very standard start. Very standard start. But I will say this. Currently, it looks like film is best in, like, red, purple, and green. There's not a lot of yellow or black support for it. Is this thing started? Is this? Oh, this guy's just taking a while to search. Sorry, guys. We were just waiting for that guy in 2x speed. Wait, now it's kind of messing up on me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think something did mess up there. My apologies, guys, but we're good to go now. It is moving. Okay. Excuse me. So like I was saying, red, green, and purple have a pretty strong film package, and I think it's actually pretty good, especially red and green. Purples is like on the lower end of it, but still some pretty good stuff there. Okay. So now it is the Black Yellow Luffy's turn. Every now and then you go against an opponent, every now and then on the sim you'll go against an opponent who's they take a little bit extra time to do their turns, but that's probably a good thing most of the time. It means you're playing against someone who's not just like, not even trying. They're just like slamming cards down. So right there, they do swing for 8, and it looks like we got a Gamma Knife trigger, which I think ramped us a Dawn, I believe, correct? I believe that's what happened, is Gamma Knife has a trigger to ramp Dawn. But right here, it is the Uta player's turn. Let's see what they do. They go ahead and play out Shiraya and pass the turn. Not attacking into Black Yellow Luffy is the correct play. You do not attack into Black Yellow Luffy. Unless you have a very specific strategy in mind, it is not wise to attack into Black Yellow Luffy. However, I will say this. I think the Uta player should attack into Black Yellow Luffy maybe one time this game to ramp one more Dawn so they get back on the even curve and then go about things that way. So right here we see a Sabo that comes out. They're going to draw 2, trash 2. We're just waiting on the opponent to pick which cards they want to trash with the Sabo effect. Interesting. So, okay, when it comes to a lot of yellow decks and like these decks that gain life and, you know, just kind of combo out of their life like Enel and in this case Black Yellow Luffy, a lot of times they serve as a... let me pause real quick. I think that was fine countering out of that, by the way. I think that was a good idea. But let me finish my thought real quick. The matchup between Enel and Black Yellow Luffy and a few other decks, not every deck, but a few other decks, half the matchup is knowledge. Like, just knowing what to do against the leader is like 50% of the battle. And once you've got that part down, the games become very manageable and pretty, I don't want to say easy. Nothing's ever easy, right? This TCG does require some skill to play. Nothing's ever easy, but it gets easier. I'll say that. Okay. So we go ahead and counter out of that attack. I 100% agree. Let's not go too far down in life because currently there's no way to gain life in the red purple, you know, Uta red purple film package. Playing out the Guild to Sorrow here and just passing, filling up for a wide board. So for those who are not aware of what's going on, like why are they not attacking? They want to go as wide as possible. Don't give the Luffy player any life cards. So now their leader effect is turned off and they have no way of buffing their leader. And then what we can do is pace the game out and just beat them in one turn. Just run them over in one turn, or if you don't completely beat them, you'll at least get most of the cards out of their hand where they're just completely hampered for, you know, moving forward in the game. Okay, I mean, I personally would counter out of this. You can block and do a 1K, which it looks like that's what they're going to do. I like that. I'm totally fine with that. And then they don't swing with the Sabo. So hear me out, whoever the Black Yellow Luffy player is. I have no idea who either of these players are, but I think what I would have done there, you know, if they're listening is what I'm saying, right? Or if you find yourself in the Black Yellow Luffy player's position, why not just attack? Because you're at 4 life. Okay, you're at 4 life. If they attack into your Sabo, oh well, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you still, sure, let them, right? Because you're going to get it back with Gecko Moria. That's how the deck works. And the same thing I want to say from a little bit earlier, like, let's swing for 5. You know, the turn where we swung for 8 with the leader, for this was like turn 2 for Black Yellow Luffy. They had Garp on the board, and then they had the Luffy, and they just loaded up for 8 and swung it all in. I'd rather get 2 cards out of my opponent's hand, or potentially 2 life, or a life and a card. Like, either way, it ends up being a little bit better by just going 5 and 5. You know, because if you swing for 8, you just lose the life, you know, and then instead of losing a card in hand, they actually gain a card in hand. Whereas if you swung for 5 and 5, can they really afford to lose 2 life like that? Probably not. So they end up drawing a card, but then also trashing a card. Like, they'll take 1 life and then trash 1 card to compensate. So anyway, all right, let's see what happens here. So like I said, I would have swung with a Sabo. I don't care if they attack my Sabo, it's fine. You know, if I need to counter out of it, I can, but I only have, but you know, the Luffy only has 6 cards in hand. This is why Flampe is so important. Also, one more thing I just realized. Why did we not use the Luffy to draw a card there for the Black Yellow Luffy player? So they played down the 5-cost 6K Luffy that has activate main, trash the top card of your life to draw a card, and he gets plus 2,000 power for the turn. That might not seem relevant against like normal, you know, like maybe like blue or black decks. But against red decks that actually deal with power manipulation, yes, going up to 8,000 power might be relevant, like saving your character from a potential jet pistol or something like that. So I will say this right away. Excuse me. I do think that was a play mistake, not using the Luffy's ability right away to draw a card and go down 1 life. Okay, so right here we're going to swing for 6. Looks like we are going to use the card action. I do like that. So that way next turn we can for sure play out our... what's his name there? Our 10-cost Shanks. Okay, they're going to play out Zephyr here. Very nice. So there you go. That's exactly why, you know, to do that. I guess it wouldn't have mattered too much because, okay, hear me out. Zephyr will negate the effects of a character, and then if they have 5,000 power or less, I think they get KO'd, right? We did minus 2,000 with our leader, but I'm wondering, I don't know off the top of my head with the way that it's worded because I don't see the card in front of me. But that might have still gotten around Luffy's effect because it would probably reduce their cost, or excuse me, their power, right? Even if they had used the character effect to go to 8,000, it should have reduced their... It may or may not have, actually, because now it's in effect. Oh, well. That's something I'll try to solve later, guys. Bear with me on that. Either way, going up in power still makes sense no matter which way you do it because it could have potentially saved our guy from a KO effect. Okay, so now it is our opponent's turn. They're up to 9 Dawn this turn, so they cannot do a big major wombo combo with Gecko Moria or anything. Not to mention, they can't do it, period, right? Okay, and now they're just loading up for 14. So they're loading up for 9, and they're swinging 14. This is a 1K counter or a 2K counter, whatever we have in hand, with Shiraya. Just going to block this. Honestly, I might have taken it. I'm not going to lie, I might have just taken this hit. Because we're down to 4 cards in hand. But this turn is going to be ugly for our opponent. Yeah, I think you just slam Shanks here. Absolutely, pass the turn. Perfect play there. Now we can just run our opponent over next turn with a full board, and we'll have a lot going on here. Okay, that was interesting, guys. Playing out Gecko Moria to snag back a Flampe. Gonna draw 2 cards from that pretty much. And now let's see what else we have. And choosing no other targets with Gecko Moria. Interesting. So they chose no other 2-cost target or less. All right, so they were able to use the... wait, what just happened there? That was so odd. Hang on. It happened too fast for me. I was too slow. So right here, let's see what happens. They have 2 Dawn left. Oh, I bet that was a Thunderbolt. Okay, I was like, how did they know Luffy was on top of their life to use that kind of interaction, and why didn't they get the buff? They Thunderbolted to pop a card on the board. I was so confused there. Sorry, guys. We're good now. We're good. Okay, but this does not look good, right? This does not look good for our opponent. Because right now, I think is a good time to start swinging. Oh, I really like that combination in the hand there, guys. Do y'all see that combo in hand? I believe that new Karina card is a 3-cost 0-power 1K counter blocker that on play -2000s or -3000s. I'm not exactly sure. You can combo that with that Sabo in hand to pop some pretty decent sized stuff. Okay, swinging in for a lot here. Whew, they just had to counter out so much. Okay, so we swung for 12 and they took their last life. Then we swing for 10 or 11. I think, no, it was 10. And then they just counted out with a bunch of 1K counters. So that does not look good. And now it's going to be load up for 6 or 7, load up for 12K more. Absolutely no way they're surviving out of this, right? Let's just even do some math real quick. If they had all 2K counters in hand, which I doubt they do, it'd be, so each one would be, so would go plus 2,000. So it would go from 5 to 7 to 9 to 11 to 13. That would cost 4 2K counters from hand. They only have 5 cards in hand, so they have nothing to play the following turn. They would just lose. And that's if they even had all these 2K counters. They had a 2K, 1K, 1K. Yep, impossible. Okay. Once I saw 2 1K counters, you know it's just mathematically impossible at that point. Really good stuff there. I thought that was a pretty well-played game. I like how you just shut them down. You said, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to... You establish the Shiraya, which is a hard counter to Luffy if they can't pop it with the 5-cost Luffy, the Rocket Boots Luffy. That is a very strong counter to Luffy, where it's like you're going to eat up their early attacks before they're down to 2 life, potentially. And then from there, you just go wide on the board. Don't give them any help. Don't help them at all from life. That was very, very well played. Really good stuff there. Okay, now, y'all give me 1 second to get set up here. Got to black out the screen, move my face over. And we got some stuff to talk about. First things first is this. Okay, we are on Twitter. Okay, I do not get on Twitter very often. However, had to hop onto Twitter and check this out, guys. For those who are not aware, whoops, I hit F11 on the wrong screen. There we go. For those who are not aware, notice read on the right, guys. The one on the left is like, we'll go to that in a second, but read up here on the right, guys. Below cards will be added to the English One Piece card game banned card list from September 6th, 2024. Okay, which does bring up some complications, in my opinion. You know, it's like, wait a minute. For the people who are going to Nationals, will you not be able to play Red Purple Law? Because isn't Nationals September 13th through 14th or 13th through 15th? It's something like that. I can't remember the exact date. It's like right when OP08 comes out. So that's what makes it very confusing. And if someone can confirm that, because I have no idea, guys. I have absolutely no idea. But if you do know, by all means, you know, tell us in the comment section below. But the way that this looks, guys, is cards are banned and restricted on that date, September 6th, 2024, which is that Friday. Those cards will not be playable in English sets, in English versions of the game. So we'll have to see what happens there. That seems like it's really unfortunate for the players who are preparing for Nats and they were going to be playing Red Purple Law. I don't know if they will make an exception for Nationals. Personally, I think they should, because people have been training for the past, what, probably 2 or 3 months, getting ready for Nationals, if not longer. Excuse me, and playing, you know, Red Purple Law. Many people will be playing Red Purple Law for that event, or they planned on it. It looks like no one will be playing it unless it is, like I said, unless there's some type of special exclusive way for, how am I trying to say this? Unless there is, unless Nationals is on a different ban list and they're going to be allowed to use it, then otherwise these will be banned. Again, do not quote me on it, because I'm asking a question. I don't know the answer. Do not quote me saying like, oh, the VV Theory said we can't play these cards at Nats. I have no idea. I'm asking. So you guys tell me in the comment section below, but it doesn't look great when I just read this, where it's like, okay, ban these cards. Hopefully they will be able to make an exception for Nationals players. Or maybe not. I don't know how people feel about it. Maybe people are happy that this leader will be banned at Nationals. I don't know. Or will it be? Or will it be at all? Okay. Let's leave that there. I'm sorry that was really all over the place, guys, because like I said, while this is a very clear thing that they said, okay, September 6th, all these 2 cards are banned. What makes it very challenging is OP08 comes out that following Friday, which would be the 13th, and then the 14th and 15th is Nationals, is U.S. Nationals. So will these cards be banned? Because I don't think OP08 will be legal yet. That's what makes it very complicated. Hopefully you understand. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. And that's always the case, guys. If you have any questions, please hop down there. Okay, now let's talk about OP08.5 Red Yellow Sabo. So as you can see here, so I hopped on OnePieceTopDecks.com, which I do every single day. You know, I do it randomly throughout the day. I went over to the East here, which is actually the page I have bookmarked on my little favorites, or whatever, how you say that. And I said, oh, what's this? Look at this here. A Red Yellow Sabo list. First place. It's just a 17-player tournament, so let's keep everything, you know, take everything into consideration. It didn't win some major tournament, but it does show that, okay, they're starting to tinker with this over in the East. And who knows, maybe they've been doing it for a while, because I have seen, you know, some stuff on it here and there. But check this list out, guys. First up, I'm going to read the leader, and then we're going to blast through this list. This is a Revo Army list with some really interesting tech cards. So for those who are not aware, this is what the leader does. It is a 5,000 power, 4 life, red and yellow leader, Revo Army, and Dressrosa. Dawn ×1, activate main once per turn. You may add one of your cost 3 or higher characters with 7,000 power or higher to the top of your life face up. Then give up to one of your characters plus 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. So you will, how do I say this? Your characters will get plus 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. So that's very good, right? Like that's a good thing. And that will help you push through for lethal and things like that. You're gaining life in the process. Guys, I've mentioned it before on the channel. This is my new main leader that I'm running, and it's such a fun leader to play. Now, let's read through this list, because this is a very unique list that I have not seen before. We're going to read through this and talk about it. First up is I'm going to go through the numbers, then we'll go through each card. So it's running 4 of the new, this is OP08.5 Ace, this is the ST15 Ace. So 4 Ace, 4 Emporio Ivankov, 4 Karasu, 3 Koala. That's very interesting. I'd be running 4 personally, but hey, this list worked out just fine for them, right? 2 Bello Betty, only 2 Bello Betty searchers. Then it's running 2 Morley, 4 Lindbergh, 4 of the 5 cost Emporio Ivankov. I should have mentioned that, guys. 4 of the 4 cost, 4 of the 5 cost, and then 4 Kitten Killer, 2 Dragons, 4 Satori. I do like that. 2 Emporio Ivankov, the 3 cost. Like they got the 3 cost, the 4 cost, and the 5 cost in here. All are Revo Army, right? All these are Revo Army cards. Excuse me. And then we're running 4 of the Ace, the 2 cost Ace cards, 2 of the 5 cost Ace, the yellow 5 cost Ace, 4 Frankie, and 1 You're the One Who Should Disappear. We're not going to talk much about this card. Pause and read it if you don't know what it does. This is a staple in most yellow decks. It just makes sense. It helps clean up your hand, you know, with bricks and things like that. But let's talk about some things real quick. I feel like I'm like super zoomed in today. No, that's 100%. Okay, first I want to talk about this Ace card. A lot of people will read this card and think, what is this doing in here? It's not a blocker, and it's not a rusher in this deck. So understand that, guys. This card is only a rush card if your leader is Whitebeard Pirates. So why run this card? Well, first of all, it is a 5 cost 6K with a 1K counter. So it's kind of just good all around, especially in a deck like Red Yellow Sabo. Putting down a 5-cost 6K, next turn you can attack with it for 7. Just attach 1 Dawn, swing for 7, and then you can put it right on top of your life if you need to with your leader effect. And that's what makes this card so good. It's like, yeah, but can't you do that with like Gadatsu? Yes, but what Gadatsu does not have is, look at this once per turn, guys. If this character would be removed from play, okay, removed from play, that means not KO'd, trash, anything like that. It could be bottom deck, trash, KO, bounce, whatever. If this character would be removed from play by your opponent's effect, you may give this character minus 2,000 power for this turn instead. So do you see what's going on there? This is a character that is very sticky. On top of that, it has other added utility. Remember what we looked at down here? Man, that is nice, guys. This is a spicy tech choice for Red Yellow Sabo that I absolutely love. Me and my buddy Mike were talking about this last night. Excuse me. Talking about these 2-cost, like, you know, messing around with the 2-cost version of the deck again, where it has the 2-cost Ace, 2-cost Luffy, or whatever you want to run. And it was like, yeah, that deck actually worked out very well for me. Like, that was a very strong deck for me. But this guy is comboing that version of the deck, which I had as its own version of the deck, where you had searchers like Garp for it. I even ran one list without the searchers for Garp. I was just running like 4 of the 2-cost guys for Ace and Luffy, and then 8 different, you know, 4 Aces and 4 Luffys. But this guy is saying, I don't even need Ace. And that is one thing I will say, like, excuse me, sorry guys, my throat today. That is one thing I will say, guys, is the more I play this deck, it really does end up kind of being a control thing, as long as I can go wide enough on the board. Because I can keep throwing cards on my life. You know, it's very hard to KO this deck, because I can gain a life every single turn. But here's what makes this version very cool, is you can gain the life and then put the card right back into play after swinging to protect it, so it'll come back into play like unrested or like active. And if it's the 5-cost 6K Ace we were just looking at, they can't KO it anyway unless they have double KO effects for the turn. And now my leader's a 7,000 power character, or a 7,000 power leader. It just seems really, really strong, guys. That's all I'm going to say. This seems really, really good, and it's very interesting to see this card popping back up. Another thing to consider, well, if you need to get a card out of your life, no problem. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter blocker, searchable by Revo Army. And on play, you may trash the top or bottom card of your life, reveal 1-cost 5 card from your hand, and then place that face down on the top of your life area. Okay, let's look at some of the targets here. This one's only running 2, but it's got this Ace we can put up there. It's got this Ace we can put up there, and then it also has Satori. That is a 5-cost character, guys. That is a 5. Notice that this Ivankov does not care what kind of character it is. It just needs to be a character that costs 5. And it's not 5 or less or 5 or more. It is a 5-cost exact character. And then there's also this card as well they could potentially put up there as well, if they need to, right? And I think that's kind of the whole point, right? It's like, okay, if I have, let's say we have Kid and Killer in our life, right? Let's say we swung for 7, put Kid and Killer in life, and our opponent doesn't want to give us another life card. No problem. What we'll do is we'll use Emporio Ivankov to take our top card, which will be the Kid and Killer in this case, and then we will swing, or excuse me, sorry, I skipped a step. Then we'll put this card back up there. Let's just use this card as an example because it doesn't even have a counter, right? We'll put this card back in our life, or even potentially Satori, which is a trigger, but then that was only 3 Dawn. If we have, say we're on an 8 Dawn turn. Say we're on an 8 Dawn turn. You ready for this? We play out the Kid and Killer that we just took from our life. We swing in for 7 with Kid and Killer. Attach 1 to our leader. Put the Kid and Killer back on top of our life. Now we just gained a life for the turn, right? And then we're going to smash in for 6 with our leader. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, this will be a 6,000 power blocker on the following turn from the leader effect. You see what I'm saying? So that's just so incredible. And if it was like a 10 Dawn turn, all right, hear me out. Okay, listen to this potential 10 Dawn turn. 10 Dawn turn. Last turn, we swung in with Ace for 7. We put him into life to protect him. Our opponent is up against the ropes. They're in trouble. So they're like, okay, I'm not giving them that card back. I need to build up some blockers, defenders, and build up my board state to try and win in one turn. No, sir. That's not going to happen today. Because what you could do in that situation, potentially, is you could play this card out to get the card back. Hang on, there's a lot of ways we can do this one, guys. Hang on. See, that's the thing about Ace, is because we already have this guy, we don't even have to use the Emporio Ivankov. So let's go back to my other situation. Let's say it was a Kid and Killer, though. If you're on a 10 Dawn turn, you're going to be able to swing for 7 with your leader, or even 8. Okay, I skipped a step again. Kid and Killer's on top of your life, right? We play out the Emporio Ivankov to get the Kid and Killer back. That was 3 Dawn. We swing in for 7 with Kid and Killer. That was 4 Dawn, so now we're at 7. With the remaining 3 Dawn, we just throw our guy back to the top of our life, giving our Emporio Ivankov +2 for the turn, and then we swing in for 8 with our leader. And now what do? If they don't KO, if they do not KO our Emporio Ivankov, well, I've got even worse news for them next turn. I'm going to swing with it because I don't need the blocker. I want my cards from my life that I just put there. So this card, guys, this version of the list, I've been talking about it, guys, in the Discord. If you're not on Discord and you like Red Yellow Sabo, you're doing yourself like a disservice. You're doing yourself an injustice. Like, hop on the server, guys. We are constantly yapping about Red Yellow Sabo in there. And if we're not, bring it up anytime, and I'm ready to yap about it. Because this is my leader right now, guys. This is the guy that I am using as my leader in every single, like in all of my playtesting right now. This is where it's all going, unless it's for some random video. But yeah, what I was going to say, though, was this is the direction we are trending after what was released in OP09, or after what was spoiled, excuse me, in OP09. We're getting some very strong Red Yellow Sabo support in OP09, and yeah, we want to be able to use it, and it's all Revo Army. So it's like, okay, well then let's do it. What do we have to do to get that going? This is the answer, I think. The Revo Army stuff and going from there. One card that I just want to mention that's not in the list that I wish was is Zoro. That is a card, like I said, me and like, he's like my playtest partner at this point. We're always throwing ideas back and forth. My buddy Mike, me and him both are Red Yellow Sabo mains right now. At least for now. Things change in the future. But we're both Red Yellow Sabo mains. And it's like, not running Zoro seems a little bit crazy because the card has so much utility. It has so much utility. But at the same time, it's like, where do you fit it in a deck like this? The answer is I don't know, by the way. I have no idea. It would have to take the place of like Kid and Killer or something. But Kid and Killer doing what they're doing with this list with the Emporio Ivankovs, it's just a little bit, we'll have to see. That's the answer is come back later and we'll see. But no, we got some testing to do. Other than that, guys, this is just a straight up Revo Army list. It's running the Emporio Ivankov. Remember what this does, guys. Activate main once per turn. If this character has 7,000 power or more, play a 5,000 power or more Revo Army character other than Emporio Ivankov from your hand. So you can play out any of these 4-cost, or pretty much any of these 4-cost characters that are Revo Army from your hand. That could be Karasu, Lindbergh, Morley. It can't be these, obviously. It cannot be this one either because this is Emporio Ivankov. It cannot get itself out. That would be crazy, right? That would be crazy if you were like, okay, attach 2 to this guy to play out another Emporio Ivankov, and then put this guy back on top of your life with our leader, and then give plus 2,000 to the new one, and now cheat out another one. And just that would just be so insane. Very fun too. That'd be very fun. But anyway, Dragon is Revo Army, of course. You'll be able to search that up. This guy right here, I want to read as well for those who are not aware. It's a top 3 searcher that plays up to 1 Revo Army character that with 5,000 power or less, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in the order. So this one does not care if it's an Emporio Ivankov. So there is a world, like theoretically, there is a world where it's like, okay, you play this card out, which cheats out this card, and then if you have 2 Dawn to attach to this card, okay, then you can cheat out another card like Karasu. And that's the whole idea here. Like what this guy is clearly doing with this deck is going as wide as possible, and then just running their opponent over, right? Just beating down the gates that way. And I love it. I love what's going on here. And then you get them in a sticky situation where it's like, okay, I'll tell you what. They're finally going to get your board at some point, right? Because a lot of these are like 4 and 5 cost characters. They're eventually going to beat you on the board. But here's the thing. How much damage did they take along the way? And now if they're at like 1 or 0 life, well, guess what? Now we're going to do a Kid and Killer loop. I'm just going to keep beating you down with a 7k Kid and Killer swing, put that back into life, and then I'm going to swing in for 11 with my leader. You could even do 2 9k attacks. I'm going to swing for 9 with Kid and Killer and 9 with my leader. The same thing can be done with Monkey D. Dragon. You can swing, and these, I'm talking about 10 Dawn turns, right? Swing for 9 with Dragon, swing for 9 with leader. And then life the Dragon every time. It just becomes this constant infinite loop, and now they're just on the clock. Because even if they don't attack in your life, you still could just swing for 15 with your leader. Worst case scenario, you know what I mean? It still works out just fine. And that's just to say if you only got one rush card. Like, say you only got one Kid and Killer. But yeah. One thing I will mention is I think you probably want to aggressively take life in this deck. And that's why I would almost rather this card be Flampe. I'd rather just take life aggressively and get my ace online. Because otherwise, if you're just gaining life like crazy, like we said, if you're just filling out the board, number one, take your life aggressively, go down to 2 as fast as possible. But then from there, you know, when you start trying to gain life, if they start letting you gain life, well, all of a sudden, this card's just dead. And that's why, like, okay, I see why they're running as a 2 of, right? It does make sense. Because there does come a point in the game where this is just a dead card if you're just demolishing your opponent and now you don't have rush. And guess what? You know what? There's another card in the game that you can play for 5 and swing for 7. Zoro. Okay, Zoro is a 3 cost 5k. So if you play him for 3, you can attach 2 Dawn to him and swing for 7. And then it becomes the exact same value as Ace. So that's one of the reasons why I think Zoro was so powerful. And I get it, you can't do this interaction with Zoro, and they're trying to make as much synergy in the deck as possible. I totally get that, and I actually love that. I love that about this list, but that's why I say I think this card would actually be better off as a Flampe in this list, so that way you can just keep nuking your own life down if your opponent decides, I don't want to swing at his life anymore. Because that's very smart of them, right? Because we're just bashing in and then putting cards like this back on top of our life. Using a card like OP08.5, massive. Because remember, you could just take the top card of your life and not add a card. You don't have to do that second part. That's just, you know, you can reveal one up. It should say reveal up to 1 cost 5 character card from your hand, and then put it on top of your life face up. But yeah. Actually, it does say put it face down. Excuse me, it does say put it face down. Unless this is a bad translation. Okay. Alright guys, let's go ahead and hop over the sim. We're going to be checking out another version of Red Yellow Sabo today. I would have actually put some games, you know, through the sim with this, but I saw this morning. Okay, and I already had some stuff prepared for today. Okay, so without any further ado, let's hop over to the sim. We got we've got 3 fun games here of Red Yellow Sabo running a control version of the deck. Notice, you know, I think you'll see some big differences in this version than you've seen from me from the past. Let me make sure the speed is on 2x. Now it is. The volume is off, and we are good to go. All right, guys, let's do this. Notice what's in my hand. I did mulligan it through very quickly. I had a Yamato in there. So, guys, the version you're looking at right now is a Big Bomb Pirates version that is basically, how do I say this? It's a little bit all over the place, but I'm going taller with the list, and I'm no longer worrying about the what do they call it? The Land of Wano package. I don't care about Land of Wano anymore. I'm not trying to drop my opponent down to 0 really quickly so I could just win like that. It's like, no, I think I could just control the board, and I'll just bounce things with Katakuri out of my way that I can't deal with, and I'll pop things with Yamato, and I'll just aggressively take life. So I can get more and more value from cards like Yamato. Get more and more value from, you know, cards like that. So, okay, here we go. I play out a Flampe very aggressively to draw a card here. I've got a Gadatsu here. They're going to swing for 8. I'm going to take that too. I get a trigger. So I'm going to go ahead and trash a card and get that trigger out. I still run triggers in here, just not as many. So right here, it's like, okay, unfortunately, Gadatsu's not really going to do it here. I'm just going to keep smashing in. Honestly, so one mistake that I feel like well, no, hang on. Then I was going to say I can't do everything. So what I was going to say was, let me see. Yeah, Flampe is only a 1k. So buffing her to +2 to swing for 3, I would have to put 2 Dawn on Flampe this turn to be able to swing for 5. And I couldn't do that while also going to 7 with Sanji and getting my Dawn on the leader. So unfortunate. He's probably going to just bash. Okay, I'm very surprised there he did not swing into my Flampe. Because, I mean, what rush is he in to beat me? Okay, I'm going to swing for 6. Give me a 2k counter, or blocking, give me a 1k. Blocking is very dangerous here, though, right? And here you go. This is why. So understand real quick, guys. Remember, we were just talking about this with Ace. If this was an Ace, I couldn't do what I just did there. But, yeah, they both cost 5, and they both swing for 7 with rush, right? Right and wrong. Because Ace, you have to be at 2 or less life. Zoro just says, nope, here I come. Like, we're going in. And I'm not saying that Ace is better than, or excuse me, I'm not saying that Zoro is better than Ace. I'm just saying when it comes to practicality reasons, I really, really like Zoro in what Red Yellow Sabo is doing. So here we go. I just swung for 7. Guess what? You still don't get to attack my character. Now I'm back to 4 life. I'm back to 4 life. This is why they should have attacked in a Flampe. There's no reason. Yeah, give me that card back. I said thank you very much. And now it's my opponent's turn still. They still have 6 Dawn left to work with. And let's see what they do. Tapping my guy, X-Drake, sure, you got it. Right here, they're at 2 life. So these Gadatsus are just 1k counters at this point in the game, and that's fine, right? That's fine. And I want to mention that real quick. Read Gadatsu on the side there if you don't know what he does. Gadatsu is in the list now because I'm starting to see a larger influx of blue players on the sim. Gadatsu is one of our only options against them. I don't know how else to say it. Gadatsu is one of our only tools against blue because it lets us pop a 4-cost or lower character pretty much every single time whenever we need to, you know, right away. And then against blue, you need to be fighting for the board and going as late into the game as possible. And that's when cards like Yamato and Katakuri are just going to take you to the promised land, right? They're going to take you home. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Just going to keep beating my opponent down, swinging for 7, and then swinging for 8 here, I think. I might hit Yori here, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so swinging for 7, waiting for my opponent. They block, give me a 2k counter, and now it's like, okay, well, bounce that guy back, 8 into your guy. Because here's the thing. That's the other beautiful thing about running this list, about running Red, Yellow, Sabo. I don't need to just burn you down. I can burn you down if I need to, but I would rather just eat up your entire board and make it to the late game with this new version of the deck where I actually get paid off, you know, or I actually get like a payoff by playing out things like Katakuri and then followed by cards like Yamato. Okay, so 8 Dawn turn. Let's see what they do. Or, excuse me, 9 Dawn. 9 Dawn turn for our opponent. They're going to swing for 5. That means they're probably going to have a 9 Dawn play. I'm going to give them a 1k counter. We'll take this one. That's fine. Now it's probably going to be a 9 cost... or no. Okay, they have to play out a blocker here. No, I was going to say Gecko Moria. I was going to say I'm surprised they didn't swing for 5 and then 7 and then go Gecko Moria. They're playing out a lot of blockers. Guys, that is not going to help my opponent here. So right here, we're going to play this guy out. So right here, this is a weird situation. I have to do things in a very specific way. Okay, I'm going to swing for 6 into that. Let's see if he wants to give me a counter. It gives me a blocker. We'll take that too. So normally, I would not do that with my Zoro, but I have a second Zoro in hand. So I'm not worried about him swinging 7 into my Zoro when I have another Zoro in hand. I'd rather keep fighting for the board right here and keep our life totals as high as I can, so I have a bigger target with my what's her name there, Yamato. All right, 7 into 6. Is he going to give me a 2k counter? Nope. Your turn. And that is a 7k body on the board. Okay, they're going to swing for 5. Honestly, I think I should take this. Yep, no reason not to. Swing for 6. I'm like, okay, what are you about to play for 10 Dawn? I was thinking like maybe it's a Dofi, and it is. Okay, Doflamingo. I'm fine with that. This just doesn't hurt this version of the deck, right? Because I can just keep playing out these bigger and bigger characters. Right here, I'm just going to play out the Yamato, pop that card, +2. Okay, did y'all see that? 10 Dawn turn. I play out Yamato for 9 to pop their Sabo. I attach 1 Dawn to my leader, put my Yamato back on top of my life, buff my my Zoro by 2,000, and now it's my opponent's turn. Now I've got a KO loop going, right? Like, if they attack in my face, I can play out another Yamato and pop a 5 or less again. You know what I mean? And he needs to deal with that. Okay, he's swinging 8 at face. It's like, dude, are you trying to rush me? I don't quite understand. 13, I'm not blocking that, but we are going to use the trigger here and gun. Oh, whoops. Okay, I think I should have hit the trigger there because then I could have played out. I could have trashed the Parasparrow's dead in my hand anyway. Trashed Parasparrow to play out the Sanji, and then he would have tapped it down and popped it with the what's his name, Ryuma. But who cares, right? I'm going to keep one of the characters at this point now, right? So he plays out the Ryuma, pops that. Again, I don't know why I didn't just play that card out. Okay, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. Right now, I'm just slowing the game down. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm literally just slowing the game down. So, I have a few options here. I think I should just start going for game. So, swing 11 into 10. He can counter out this with a 2k if he has it, or a 1k, 1k. A 0 cost 3k. Top deck, pass it. I don't swing in here because I'm in no rush to win this game. I have 8 cards in my hand. I'm in no rush here. I can gain a life every single turn. He's going to swing in for 7 here. I need to give him a 2k, 1k here because he has 2 other very large attacks coming my way this turn. Okay. Excuse me. Swing in for 7. We're going to take that one. And then swing in for 13. We'll take that as well. They left a 2 Dawn to play out a Rosinante. Seems good. I'm going to go ahead and play that. And now we're going to swing 6 into there. So his board's gone. So I just gained a life. Popped his, what's his name? Popped the, oh gosh, Rosinante. Swung 6 into a 6,000 power character. He had no cards in hand. He can't defend it. I've got a 9k on the board. I could have gained life there if I needed to, by the way, with the Yamato, if I absolutely needed to. But I'm ready to set up lethal next turn. Now that I've gotten my opponent to this position, I'm ready to set up lethal next turn. Swinging for 5, 1k. That card, I don't need that anymore. It would have been nice against a Rosinante, but that's about it. But if they play out another Rosinante, I'm just going to play out another. Just going to play out another 9-cost Yamato and go another game. Okay, they locked my board down. That's pretty annoying, but that's okay. That is A-okay. We're going to play out another one of these guys. Actually, hang on. It looks like I might play out the... Okay, I like that. Swing for 7. They have to take it. They have no cards in hand. Going to push that card back. Play out a pair of Sparrow, whatever. And I'm just going to pass the turn, I think. There's no reason for me to give them another card here, but I do want to set up lethal for next turn if they try to go all in. I have 3 life. I have two 2K counters, a 0-cost 3K and 3 life, like I said. I pretty much can't lose the game. I pretty much can't lose the game at this point. And if they attack enemy, they give me Zoro, and I can win through that card. Excuse me. Okay, swing for 7. We're just going to get this out of the way now, I think. Yep, 0-cost 3K, and there's no way for him to survive now. If he has 4 costs, maybe he can play down like a Borsalino or a what's her name? Either a Borsalino or maybe a Rebecca. All right, they just passed the turn. It's like, well, hey, I'm just going to swing 9 and 15, man. GG. I think they had just given up. Okay, so that's what was in their hand. They couldn't do anything with that. And the game's over at that point. Like, it's just lockdown control. There's nothing that they really can do anymore at that point. So I am really liking this version. All right, let's go to the next game. The next one is against Boa. Excuse me. Now, like I said, I have been seeing a lot more Boa on the ladder. Okay, or not on the ladder. I shouldn't say that on the sim, because I do not play ranked ladder. Okay, if Bandai ever comes out with an official version, I will absolutely play that. Okay. I am going to play out the... so I did it... Again, guys, I did an aggressive pudding to start the game off. Draw 2 cards to start off my game. I'm daring them to use something like a pudding. Oh, well, if they have the 4-cost pudding, they have it. It is what it is. But I'm going to fix cards in my hand, do this, do that, play out what I want to, and say go. Because if they're... Here's my logic on that. If they're playing out a pudding, okay, that was their whole turn, right? I don't even care. Okay, I swing for 6. They play out a Doflamingo, and it looks like they're going to do a, they're going to arrange the top 5 cards of their deck. And now, here we go. They swing in there. My turn. So right here, I'm just going to play the Gadatsu, I think, because I have value. Maybe not. I'm starting to second guess. Yeah, I agree. Playing it out there was good because I 100% will have value doing this. I'm going to swing for 5. It's my opponent's turn. I have 6 cards in hand. Now you can Gadatsu me, or excuse me, now you can pudding me all you want to. Like, I'll just go down 1 card technically. I'm just not worried about that. And for those who are trying to save Gadatsu for this kind of situation, you can do that. But at the same time, I wouldn't just fully recommend it. Okay, slam down this card. They're going to trash a life. I'm going to swing in for 5. They know I run Gadatsu, so very smart. They start taking life there. But hey, now I'm swinging for 6. It is your turn. I actually don't have a great hand, but they don't know that, right? They don't know if my hand's very good or not. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Swing for 6? All right, I'll give you a 1K. Swing for 6 more? Well, he can't swing anymore, right? He only has a 5K, and I'll take this one. Or I might counter out. I'm not sure. But either way, so right now I'm trying to do the math. So what I should have done here, I think, is countered out of this, but I don't think I do, because then I could pop one of these cards on the following turn with my Yamato. But that's okay. We get a Kid and Killer. Never punished. Never punished. Not even once. All right, so right here, it's time to start attacking. Let's start getting 2K counters out of hand. The reason I'm attacking for 6s there is I'm just getting 2K counters out of hand, and then I can have a larger development. He just trashed a pudding when I have like 7 cards in hand, by the way. Less than ideal, right? Less than ideal. We're going to swing for 7 into 5. I'm going to put that card back, give some to pudding, smash in for 8 into 5. Your turn. His turn. I'm back up to 2 life. He does play out a Kaido. Always my favorite card to see because it means I win the game, right? Anytime you see Kaido, you basically win the game unless you were losing the game that badly to begin with. Okay, we're just smashing in here. Going to put this guy back. We're going to swing for 6, swing for 7. Now, this guy's in lots of trouble. Did y'all see that turn, guys? Let's go back just a little bit. Hang out and watch this turn. So like I said, okay, so play. So I have a 10 Dawn turn here. I'm going to swing for 7 with Gadatsu. Going to play out Zoro, swing for 7, put him back to life, give 2 to go +2 on the pudding, swing for 6, and now I'm going to swing for 7 with leader. I have 3 life. If he attacks me, he gives me a rush card. He is... I don't know what he's supposed to do here. Then he just passes the turn back because he doesn't want to give me Or excuse me, I think he does. He should at least attack into my Gadatsu. Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't want to attack into me, but I'm like, hey man, you either got a 15k counter or you don't. Pause. I'm just going to call him on it. And by the way, he had 246. He could get to 11, and that sounds pretty average at this point of the game. Because remember, guys, the whole game I'm taxing him for 2k counters. I'm like swing 6 and a 5, swing 6 and a 5, 6 and a 5, and now he still had 3 2k counters left, which is impressive. But it's like, okay, it's just unrealistic that he hasn't. But even if, let's just pretend, let's just, all right, you know, let's make believe, let's think hypothetically here. If he does somehow survive that turn, I still have a 2, 4, I have 5k in hand, so I can get out of 1 9k attack very easily, and he only has 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks. All of them have to connect. So let's just say he's going to swing for 12 with Kaido. We know that that's going to go through. He doesn't, none of us know what these last 2 cards are in my life, but they're bricks. But I would think he would go 9 with Boa Hancock, right? If he swings for 9 with Boa Hancock, I give him a 10k. I get out for 10, and then I pass the turn, and then I win next turn. You know what I mean? Because he'll only have 4 and 5 left to distribute. He will still have 1 more 9k to swing with the Gecko Moria or the Boa Hancock, the leader. You see what I'm saying? So it was a situation where I basically could not lose no matter what he did this turn, unless he put down like literally 3 or 4 blockers, but then I wasn't in jeopardy of losing anyway because I could keep gaining life and go for the board and go for life like that. So good stuff there. Now we got 1 more game. We only have 3 games today, guys, and I'm really liking this version of the list, guys. I've been having a lot of fun. It's a combination of Big Mom Pirates plus just going big and rushers. That's it. And of course, being Big Mom Pirates, it does have some triggers as well. Okay, is the volume off? Yeah, volume is off. I did just adjust the speed to 2x. Yeah, we're good. Okay, Red Purple Luffy. It's like, all right, well, let's see if the new version can deal with Red Purple Luffy. I did not have much doubts there. I want to get this guy down to 2 life. Now my Kid and Killer is active, and we're off to the races, right? Okay, they're going to go ahead and swing for 7 here. I get a Satori. We're going to trash a Smoothie from hand, play out the Satori. Got a 5 Dawn turn here. Unfortunately, I don't have Gadatsu, but even if I did, it wouldn't matter because I took them down to 2 life already. Okay. We'll see what they do here. I think they're going to counter out, and then I'm just going to play out. I believe I'm just going to play out a Sanji. Don't even attack with my board. Just build my board up. Because one thing about Red Purple Luffy is they don't run a ton of on-board removal. I think they run some. I'm trying to think, actually. Other than like a Shanks or something. I don't think they might not run any. I guess it depends on the list, obviously, but they don't run a lot of removal. Okay, swing 7. I'm going to take this, and what do you know? We get another trigger here. Okay, I throw out the 9-cost Yamato because it's not great against this matchup. Swing for 5 and a 4. He's not going to protect that, and now I'm going to gain a life because I play out the 7-cost Lenlin. It's like, hey, do you want to go down to 1 life, or would you like for me to go up to 3? that was the situation he was faced with, and I think he chose the correct one. All right. Next turn, I can play out a Katakuri. I've got a lot of different plays for next turn if whatever I need to do here, right? Whatever I need to do. I have 3 life. I have a blocker. I've got a pretty wide board here. He did not attack with Eustace Kid. Not swinging with Eustace Kid was a mistake, at least in my personal opinion, because now I can swing 6s across the board, some 8s. Like, I can do whatever I want this turn. I can literally do whatever I want to this turn. All right, but let's see what happens. I'm going to develop 1 more turn here, and I'm going to swing for 6 because that's free. And let's see what he does. Okay. And now I think I just passed the turn. I might push back the Katakuri. Okay. Yeah, I like that, actually. Yeah, give me Katakuri, and then I'll bounce back whatever you play next turn as well. Unless it's a 9 or a 10 cost, obviously. Okay, swing for 5. He has all of his Dawn untapped. I'm like, okay, so he's about to play out Luffy. Sorry, not Dofi, Luffy. And then swing for 7. Sure, I'll give him a 2k, 1k just to ensure that I'm safe here. I probably should have taken it, to be honest, but I didn't want to go down too low for no reason. We'll go ahead and take this. Worthless trigger. 12. Okay. And he doesn't swing 12 into 10. Like, so personally, I don't think this game's over yet for him. So I don't know if he just thinks the game's over for me or what, but I think he should have swung 12 into 10 there to get cards off my board or cards out of my hand. That's just me. Because I would have swung 8 into it and then 12 into it. You can't swing 8 into the Linlin because she's a 10, but I would at least swung 12 or 14 into the Linlin. Okay, he's got 3 Dawn left. Maybe he has a blocker here. Go ahead and trash this to put out a blocker of my own I get from a trigger. I got a lot of really good triggers this game. So it's like, hey man, you're down to, what life is he at now? I think he's down to, excuse me, he's down to 6,000 power for the turn. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna start off with a poke with a 8,000 power poke here. It gives me a 0 cost 3k. Probably wouldn't have done that. I probably would have just taken that one. 6 into 7. We're gonna push this card back. Go +2 here. 7 into 6. Give me another 2k. Bounce that card to his life. Swing for 6. He's gonna take this now, and now he's in a lot of trouble, right? Because I've gone up to 2 life. Okay, I've gone up to 2 life. I have 2 blockers. I have a 2k, a 1k, and a 0 cost 3k in hand. I'm feeling so safe about this game. I could not feel more safer than I do right now, like in this, you know, given the situation. So let's see what they decide to do. 6 into 5. I like that. That's what I feel like you should have been doing before. I think going for the board is pretty much always the right play, guys. Almost always the right play. Unless you have lethal or there's some other type of circumstance. Okay, so he swings into that. He gets it. Dragon here. Okay, 9. I'm like, should I block this? He can't swing anymore this turn. I think we should just take it. Let's just take it. Okay. All right, so we take it. Now right here, just play it out again. You want to give me a life? He says, yes, I do. We'll put that card back. Then we'll smash 12 into 9 here. See what he does. Counters out. Okay. Swing in for 6. Your turn. Now I can survive a whole nother turn of Luffy, right? Like, say he goes another 10 cost Luffy here, which he doesn't do. I can survive that as well, right? I can just take 2 hits, block out of 1, block out of another, you know, counters in hand. It seems good. 12 into 10, I'm like, no, we are going to counter out of that, though. So now he is a 7,000 power leader because of the Eustace Kid. It was smart playing out Eustace Kid there as well. I mean, I don't know what else he had in hand. It is smart to do that because, and right, okay, I think I finally call his bluff here. I'm like, dude, this is getting out of hand. We're just going to start going face. But I don't know what all is in his hand, but I did know he had a Eustace Kid, so it was smart playing that out. So now I don't know what his remaining 3 cards are in hand. So now he's taken that information away from me. He's gone to 7,000 power for the turn, and he basically kind of put me on a little bit of a clock there, where it's like, if I don't win this turn, I can't survive next turn against another Luffy if he has one. So I either have to eat up this board, or I got to start really going face here. Okay, so we'll go 9 into 7. If this goes through, I'm going all in. It does not go through, but I think I'm still going to go all in, to be honest. So right here, I'm like, wait a minute. I almost put all the Dawn on there. I think I do, because I'm going to try and take out one of these guys. We'll go 14 into 12. We will gain a life just in case. And now my opponent's probably feeling like there's nothing he can do. Because now I have him in an infinite loop, right? So okay, let's play out this game. He's obviously looking for a 10 cost Luffy, by the way. It's the only thing that can save him right now. Because if he attacks into me, I play out the Katakuri again and life one of these characters again. You see what I'm saying? And then I'm just constantly just, you know, whittling him down. And next turn I can just go all in with these blockers at any time if I need to, because he has no removal. Okay, he does a Nami search. He doesn't find what he wants, and he just gives up. Because, okay, what do you do in this situation? So if he attacks in with all these cards on the board, right, and let's just say I take all of them, which I probably would need to do, right? Number 1, my last card was a Parasparrow. I had insane triggers this game. My last card is a Parasparrow, but okay, Parasparrow comes into play, and now I'm swinging 8 into his board, or excuse me, 8 into his life. How many times? I mean, you know, like, how many times is he going to be able to get out of it, I guess is the idea. And then, worst case scenario, I can start bashing into his actual characters on the board for large numbers and go about things that way. It all depends on the situation, but he gave up there. He just tapped out because I had him locked down. It was just a matter of time before we won. And I think they got the Rad Beam from the Nami search. I can't remember though. Okay, well that's that, guys. Let me go ahead and bring up the deck list. So this is what I was running. This is the list I was running in the video today. It's basically a Big Mom Pirates version. Whoops, let me move my face. It's just a Big Mom Pirates version of the deck, but I'm just adding in more Katakuris now, Gidatsus, and 9 cost Yamato. Everything else is very straightforward. I backed off of the 5 cost Luffy before I even saw that list we looked at today from the East. The card is good, and extremely, like, sometimes there are extremely niche situations where the 5 cost Rush Luffy that's unblockable is the best card in the game. But other than in that, like, very specific one situation where they have, like, 5 blockers and 0 life and, like, not enough counter in hand, other than that one situation, the card's just kind of okay. You know what I mean? So I'll say this. Excuse me. If there are more blockers in the format moving forward, we can go up Luffy. But until then, this deck list was running very well for me, guys. Now, I will be messing around with Revo Army stuff more and more as the days go on, because like I said, when I saw the OP09 spoilers for what's coming out for Revo Army red-yellow cards, yeah, I'm interested. Hey, I want this leader to be top tier. I already think this is an A-tier leader, and people think I'm crazy for this. People said the same thing about Black-Yellow Linlin, guys. People thought I was crazy about Black-Yellow Linlin. I get it. And that deck, I would consider not as good as this one. Like, obviously, currently, but I'm saying, like, even back then, like, with all things taken into consideration and, like, per that time period, I think Red Yellow Sabo is an extremely competitive list currently, even more so than Black Yellow Linlin was when I thought she was very good and when I used to rant and rave about her. Because it's not a show, guys. Like, yes, this, like, I have a video every day where it seems like a TV show or something at this point, maybe. And not to sound like bragging. I'm not saying that. It's not as good as, like, a TV show. I'm just saying this might feel like I'm putting on a show for you guys. It's not like that. I'm telling you guys what I really think is going to win, right? Like, I think this deck actually can win. And we just saw in the East a version of it winning. I've seen locally a version of it winning, and I go to a very sweaty locals, and it wasn't my version. Like, it was another version. It was very similar to mine. And me and the guy are friends who won. Big shout out to Daniel. This was about like a month or a month and a half ago. Like, the deck can win. Okay, I've seen it do it. It has a very good matchup in pretty much everything in the format currently. And with these adjustments, it's even a little bit better into blue than it used to be with the Gadatsus, the Yamatos, and the Katakuris. You see what I mean? So all I'm trying to say is this. You guys help me get there. Help me out, guys. If you guys got any ideas, help me out. Hop on the Discord. Tell me what you're thinking about this deck. What is it struggling with so we can overcome it? Okay, that's where we're at currently. And I will say, guys, taking it to locals, I've had nothing but solid results with this list. The biggest problem I've had with it is Bonnie. I think Bonnie is just the hard counter because I even played against, and I think there are ways to beat Bonnie still. Like, I'm not saying it's like a 0% win chance. I'm just saying it's like a much harder win chance, like 40% chance to win against Bonnie. But if we make the correct adjustments to the list, maybe it gets up to 45, 50%, because we just want to get as many matchups as close to 50% as we can or more, right? Because, excuse me, if we can get all these matchups to there, then we can let our skill kind of play out from there, right? Like, okay, now our knowledge of the matchup will carry us the rest of the way. Right, I'm about done yapping, guys. I'm not going to really go over this list. Just pause it. I'll have it linked in the comment section below if you want to try it. Pause it and check it out if you want to see anything. This is pretty much exactly what I've been running before. However, it just has more of the Big Mom Pirates package, and I just totally got onto the KO theme. Like, I want to be able to KO with Gadatsu, KO with Yamato, or KO with Katakuri. Control the board, go late game, outvalue them, and call it a day. All right, that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me go ahead and throw up the sponsors here and the playmat supporters, all that stuff real quick. Big shout out to everybody who supports this channel, whether you're just liking, sharing, subscribing, viewing, whatever you're doing. Keep doing it. I really appreciate it. And then also to the VB Pirates playmat supporters, thank you guys so much for buying the mats. I hope you're really enjoying them and showing them off and all that good stuff where you are. And last but not least, the patrons. Okay, the VB Pirates patron page. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I think that's it. All right. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace.